All right, so I'm recording in 4K, so that kind of like messed up. Not messed up, but it kind of took all my storage. So that last bit was like 8 GB. But so like most of what I said, not most of what I said, most of it was still heard, but a good deal of what I said was cut off. However, I don't even care because this is just so exciting. Um, I guess I'll use this part to do like an intro because I don't think I talked about the show enough, or at least talked about the show enough before I start spoiling stuff. So I want to say, if you haven't started watching, please start watching. If you've started watching and um, if you started watching, you're not caught up, please catch up because these next couple of episodes are just gonna be gas. Like I was saying that Sung Jin Woo is a character that he carries his show not because all the other characters suck, but because he's just it's just amazing. It's just hype moment after hype moment, and no one you can't hate on it. Like I almost don't want other characters to get screen time because I just want to see what bro is up to and bro is doing, and he's one of the characters that get away with that, and it's perfectly fine in my opinion. Some great moments are coming up where he's going to continue to ore farm, continue to riz, continue to like. I know I sound ridiculous using these words, but I can't define it as anything else. And it's just an amazing showing and showcase. He's going to continue to show that he's that guy. Like some of these past battles, he's come to a point of strength where this might be a little bit of spoiler, but it's not crazy that he's almost like unmatched, unrivaled, except for a few people. So and he's going to show that. He's going to continue to flex on everybody, and even with more style and more grace than he had been before. So I feel like you have to tune in. You have to start watching. All right, so I want to discuss solo leveling. This is kind of going to be a review for the past 3 episodes. So the one that dropped today, as of March 1st, and also which is episode 9, as well as episode 8 and 7. So I'm going to talk about solo leveling generally, then get into the episodes themselves. But I want to start off saying, if you haven't seen those, go ahead and watch them. But I also want to say, if you're not watching solo leveling right now, you need to start watching. Because if you think that you've seen the memes and all that, and you think that the aura farming has started, it hasn't started. And probably this next episode is going to go crazy. And then more episodes to come. They're going to set the internet ablaze, honestly. It's going to be as big as it might be as big as it's not gonna be as big as Gear 5, all right, or Ultra Instinct, but it's gonna be big. So it's gonna be on that scale, but not on that level. So definitely lots of exciting things coming along with this Jeju Island raid. But pretty much if you don't know solo leveling, I guess I do what I always do, read the summary, and I think for this I'm going to continue to react to it episode by episode because it's just fire. But it's actually pretty short. Oh, actually, it's because it's season 2. Let me go to season 1. Let's not. There we go. Oh dang, this is huge. I don't feel like reading that. So pretty much, imagine a world where uh, magic is introduced to the world, and this enables certain select people to become hunters. These hunters are then able to go into these things called gates, and in these gates there are monsters that they fight, and then bosses. So imagine just like I know, like imagine dungeons in a fantasy anime, but just in real life, and they're only accessible by random chance when a gate opens up. And if they don't clear the gate and defeat the boss, then the gate breaks or there's a dungeon break, and then the monsters come into the real world. So this has enabled them to use magic, get magical items, magical weapons, and even reinforce the real world with lots of magical and different things. So, of course, this introduction has infected technology and also, of course, the standard of living. So this is both like a hindrance and a boon. So hunters are like the celebrities, and there's a class system from E to S. S being the strongest, E being the weakest. An E rank hunter is still stronger than your average human. Not even average human. You're above average human. Like even Olympic athletes wouldn't compare to an E rank hunter. However, an S rank hunter isn't even comparable to an A rank hunter. An S rank hunter would make an A rank hunter look like a baby, while an E rank hunter would make an adult human being look like a baby. So that's kind of the world that they live in now. And this is following Sun Jin Woo. He starts off as the weakest hunter, but then during like a during one of these dungeons, they go into a dungeon and it turns out to be what's called a double dungeon. So they clear the boss, but then they continued. So there was more to the dungeon. So the party took it on, and then due to circumstances, almost everyone died, and he was the last one left, and he had passed the test to allow him to kind of come back and the ability to get stronger. So that's pretty much the synopsis. So this ability to get stronger is called the system, and he's able to use this system to get more powerful by leveling up. So a lot of hunters they become hunters once. So they power up and they gain their abilities once. Then some other hunters then they get a second thing called a reawakening. So they get boosted abilities. We don't know what causes this, but it just happens. So they get boosted abilities and become very stronger. However, what doesn't happen is a hunter that gradually gets stronger over time. So that's pretty much what solo leveling is about. Solo leveling by himself, he's getting stronger. So I also wrote some notes. What I really like about the anime in general, not just the last couple episodes, is we kind of get to see the fantasy elements into the real world. So I know isekais are very fun, but sometimes a reverse isekai can be very cool. So if anyone's familiar with Death Mount Play, I think it's called, or even just kind of taking those same fantasy elements and bringing them into the real world. Not necessarily always superpowers, but you don't usually see like swords, wizards, mages, assassins in present day. If it's a fantasy in present day, it's more so um, superpowers. Like people aren't necessarily like mages and warriors. So that's pretty cool. And on top of the fantasy element, it also has that video game aspect of an isekai that is only available to the main character. I think that's pretty cool because it is designed to be like a game. And something I learned from the light novels is that Sung Jin Woo is or Jin Woo Sung if you watch anime, his abilities are kind of foreign to him because he's not one that plays video games because from a kid like he was always working to provide for his family since his dad had disappeared and then his mom got sick. So he never really played video games, had the money or had the time to play them. So of course, like I said, he was the weakest hunter, so he's always getting hurt and getting injured while doing these dungeon raids and barely making any money. So like he was like on the verge of like life and death all the time just to make whatever little he could make. So, but he was working, so he never had time to play games. So while he's learning the system, he's also learning how to be a gamer, which I think is a part of the appeal of this anime. That if you like video games, then it's kind of like showing you someone that's learning a video game that they're playing for the first time, and even someone that's learning video games for the first time. And he's even exhibiting traits of being a gamer, like, oh, I want to go and level up. Oh, I want to test out what this system will do. Or I want to see what's behind this, or I want to get the right loot and all that stuff. And I guess this part is kind of if you've already seen the series. That first part was I'm going to go into spoilers because I'm talking about season 2. But he has the abilities to level up, and also his class is a necromancer. So he's able to arise anything that he defeats and have him join his army. So let's talk about the anime, and then the opening for the anime. At first, I didn't really like it, but it's definitely grown on me now, so I actually rock with it. And I want to say that it's honestly just a really good adaptation. I'm going to go into more of the details when it comes to each individual episode on some differences I noticed, as well as things that are missing, but also changes. But they're not all necessarily bad. I don't have a problem with it. It's just like these are differences that I noticed that I thought they would just be worth mentioning. But honestly, this is probably, I think Solo Leveling Anime is one of the best adaptations, period. Not just for anime, but adaptations, period. So, book to movie, book to TV show, uh, book to comic to anime, like or light novel to comic to anime. I think it's probably one of the best adaptations for not just putting everything that we already had, fixing the pacing, fixing the pacing a little bit, taking everything we already had and making it even more spectacular. Because the comic is really good, the art is amazing, and the animation team that they got and the animation that they're putting in is beyond anything I honestly could have asked for. And then the additional things, not just additional things in like the animation or like they extend a fight and they put some choreography that wasn't quite there. It's not just that, but it's just like the additional context they provide, the additional like lines, the additional like moments that they give that allows kind of things to flesh out more. So I'm going to should I go ahead and get into I can get into the specific differences between each episode. But yeah, I think this is definitely one of the best adaptations I've seen in a long time. And honestly, just I remember like reading this in high school as it was coming out. Me and my friends would get on one call and we'd like theorize as we're going through the chapter, like what's gonna happen next week. And I even have some art that I have from when I did watch the show, and I drew some of the things. So I can't show everything because some of it might be spoilers. But I can show two of them that I would like to just share that I just drew. Because actually one of them came from this last episode, so that's pretty cool. But honestly, this anime is amazing, and I feel like right now is the time to hop in because it only gets better. Like the way that they've continued to do it, it only continues to crescendo. Like I think that's the right word, but the hype train, the ore farming, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get more. So I think that's really cool. Um, but also there was someone that mentioned I just kind of saw it on Instagram. Someone has said that Sung Jin-woo hasn't really struggled, and I think this kind of also goes into my anime review, right? So I think this is episode 9. I guess I'll work backwards, or I'll just do it that, yeah. So this is episode 9, and he said in the video like Sung Jin-woo hasn't really struggled. He's like the laziest MC. Lazy probably isn't accurate, but he's had like the easiest time so far. I don't think that's quite true, and I feel like the anime did a better job of showcasing that because episode 9, so spoilers actually for the actual episodes, you see Sung Jin-woo finally help his mom. And while Sung Jin-woo has been fighting because he kind of enjoys it and he wants to get stronger because he used to be weak, you see that he kind of breaks down when his mother asks him, "Have you had a hard time?" And in the manhwa, it wasn't like that exactly. I got them right here, so I don't have to pull up any scans. In the manhwa, it wasn't exactly like that. It was a little bit different. It was short and brief. After he had helped his mom, he like shed a few tears. You know, it was a little bit more stoic, I should say. That's probably the word I would use. But in the anime, he actually has almost like a full-on breakdown. So this is his mom like being okay, right? And then here's him seeing it. And then there's like one panel of him crying. And he only says one word to her, yeah. So this is still in there, right here. Like this is still in there. But there's like almost a minute of him like actually like falling apart. And I think it was after she had asked him, like, it must have been hard for you. And the thing is, it has been. So think about it. He lost both of his parents. This isn't to say like, oh, woe is Sung Jin-woo because he's been through so much. It's more so to say that this is also integral to the story. Why he's been given this ability. This isn't really a spoiler. This is more so just like kind of shining light into things. But you have to realize, as the weakest hunter, he was on the verge of death every time he chose to go into those dungeons. But now, because of that, he was able to acquire this system. And now, imagine the weakest person who was already doing something now has the ability to become the strongest. That means all of his efforts that were leaving him battered and bruised are now leaving him to actually get strong. Because hunters can't get stronger. You just have your strength and then that's it. But now he has this ability, and he had already been diving into the dungeons, risking his life. So now, he's like, look, I've been risking my life as a hunter this whole time. But now, not only am I able to get stronger, he also saw that at some point, he was like, I can now also save my mom. And even after defeating, uh, think Byron, the demon monarch, he said, now this is the real reward. So bro is an S rank hunter from E class, but what he wanted or what he appreciates more than anything is being able to save his mother. So that is that is probably also a pretty big clue onto like how he sees and how he feels about things. Let me let me see if I can find if he, where he mentioned it in the comic. It must have been after he made it. Probably isn't here. Yeah, so it was probably just in the anime where he was like, now finally have the real reward. But he, I think that sheds more light into how he actually sees things. So because he was always already risking his life to fight, but now he gets to actually benefit from all those times he risked his life. And then on top of that, he's able to dive into the dungeons and get stronger. Because at the same time, he's not lazy because a lot of people of his class are not hunting as much. They're decided to, go into being more of a manager of their guild as opposed to still fighting. But he wants to fight. Like he enjoys fighting, or this is just a part of who he is, and it's good because he's gonna need it. But he wants to continue leveling up, and this is why I say it's kind of like a gamer's anime because in a video game you're playing, if there's no level cap and you're playing an RPG, you're probably gonna keep grinding. Like you can get more skills, you can get more powerful. Like you're gonna keep grinding. Like you love the power fantasy, and this leans into that heavily. Yes, he gets very strong earlier on, and then of course his enemies scale with how powerful he gets. But I feel like it does a really good job of that because it doesn't get boring when he gets very strong because it continues to showcase his powers, but also giving other people the chance to also do some things too. So it's not like, oh, he's just strong and stomping on everything, but he's strong and he earned this strength and he continues and desires for more. So, and the battles are just cool as hell too. But I think I can go into some differences and probably whatever else I feel like mentioning while I'm going over the differences. So start with episode 9. Episode 9, I kind of just wrote them all randomly. So episode 9 starts with him, I think, saving his mom, and then I already shared the difference on that. And after he saves his mom, he then I guess I can just look in here, and since I just watched it, so said he saved his mom. He goes to meet with Goga and He. I do know these names, so stop playing with me. He goes to meet with Goga and He to talk about the Jeju Island raid and to see if he's going to join. And then in the middle of that, he's asked if he's going to join, and then they go check out the hunters who are training. So I guess the difference would be that they actually didn't go home. I guess I completely forgot about that. They didn't. They never made it home in the comic. First he went out, and then he went home. So they tried to change the timeline on that. And then while he was at home, he got the call, as opposed to here, he got the call while he was still in the hospital. Which these are changes, like I said, but they don't really matter. Like it's still all the same overarching stuff. But if it makes it run more smoothly, that's fine then. Okay, then once they get to the training area, right? Pretty much it's the same two fighting, so that's all the same. However, the only another difference is that the other characters were already there. They never walked in. So like this Goto Ryuji and all the other Japanese team, they never walked into the facility. Like, let me show you. So this is them up there on the balcony. Hopefully you guys can see it. And then, again, this is them just in the facility, right? Then again, this is them in the facility still. They never entered, they were just already there. So it's the same stuff. The translator proceeds to talk shit about, the other team. And then one of the guys get upset and they start the challenge. However, the challenge starts off with the translator fighting the guy that they were beefing with. And he's the one that sets the rules for their engagement. Not Beck. So Back isn't the one that sets the rules. It's the translator and the Korean guy who got upset, and he actually beats it. So I think that he lost his vindication in the anime because in the comic he actually got to prove that we are strong. We're not as weak as you think. And then after that, they're like, "Yo, how about we do this? So we have a face off." So, and this is why I'm saying that you got to tune in for next Saturday's episode, because with this face off, things start to get really real. So I don't want to spoil anything, but there's more aura farming to see. There's more aura farming to see. Trust me. So I remember reading this with the homies and just getting super hyped. So those are all the changes from episode 9 that I've noticed. Of course, none of these changes are bad. So let me go back to episode. Let me go back to episode 8 now. So episode 8. Oh, also another change is when Sung Jin Woo returned to the real world after exchanging with his shadow. He was flying through. Gogen, he actually sensed him in the manga. So also, I guess I should say this as well. They also changed the briefing. So in the anime, the briefing was done between Japan and with Gogun He. However, here it's just Gogun He and I forgot the A rank guy's name with the red hair. It's just these two. So he's the one briefing him on the attributes of the ants. And if you see here, there's no one else in the room. It's just these two. And then while this is going on, he senses like, hey yo, like someone really strong is here. So, and I also kind of like, this is kind of random, but I like in the anime that they make a big deal about sensing energy, and really, only the very strong can sense energy. So only A rank and above can really sense energy, and then it gets to another level that extremely dense auras can only be sensed by like S class. So, and one of the points when there's a gate that's on A rank gate, and they're like, yo, this A rank gate is like almost S rank. A part of that isn't just the boss's energy, even though the boss was super strong. Part of that was Jin Woo's energy adding to it and making it seem like it's almost S. So that was a part of it. And then another instance would be what? Another instance was when they were fighting, when they were actually fighting, yeah. And oh no, not when he was fighting, but they were when Jin was getting evaluated, I think. And just the aura pouring through was so strong that they couldn't believe that they were what they were feeling. So, all right, that should be really it for episode 9. Now for episode 8, the changes were minuscule as well. I will say one of them was that the way Kaizo died was a little bit different. So in the manga, Kaizo was killed by Tusk. So Tusk they were doing like a beam struggle, and Tusk won. So he blasted like Kaizo. So let me show you. But the fight's really similar, honestly. Not too different. But they were doing a beam struggle, and Kaizo lost. So you see right here, that's from Tusk's like fire or dragon breath, and that's Kaizo getting hit. So then it's the same line. He says, my neck was I was tiring out looking up. So it's like you're finally on the ground. I was tiring out looking up. So that's one of the only differences. In the anime, it was Jin Woo. He threw his sword and it cut off Kaizo's neck. So that's not a major difference. What else? Also, another one was when the fight first started and the Demon Monarch summoned his allies. This is kind of a minor detail, but I think it kind of points more to his strategy, which kind of was forgotten. So when they were getting surrounded and he wasn't summoning his allies, it was because he was waiting for them to come in so they could enter his monarch's domain. His skill that if it's when his shadow stretched out, everything within his shadow gets a buff. So he was waiting for them to enter it and then summoning his troops so that they could like almost one shot all the demon enemies like an ambush really. So that was that. Um, what else? What else? Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, they mentioned Thomas Andre as well that he had came and visited. I think they mentioned him in episode 9 instead of episode 8 when they should have because this is because Andre appears before he doesn't appear fully. He appears with Gogan before. But pretty much what I'm gonna do now is kind of go back over some of the things that I'd went over but just weren't caught on the camera. So I think what actually got picked up on the video was just me talking about the fight. I think I left off on Gogan he meeting up with meeting up with the Japanese squad, or even before. Oh, I meant also about Thomas Andre. Yeah, Thomas Andre appeared like very. He actually like talked to Gogan he and that was all on screen right when he had started before he even fought Byron. So, and then I wanted to say that yeah, Thomas Andre had pulled up. I mentioned that we saw some more footage, or we actually saw footage of like a battle with the ants. Not nothing crazy, nothing like super extreme. Then some A rankers, or not A rankers, but some rankers fighting it. And then we come here, and I'm glad most of what I said got captured. So we come here, and oh, is this a spoiler? They didn't show this. That might be on purpose, but this it's older, so it's in here. But I guess this didn't show it, so maybe yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything. So I talked a good bit about um, what's it called? How when he went to evaluate his items, that there was a slight difference that maybe most of you would even care about. Is the case that they were observing was vertical, not horizontal and on the ground. And then the same joke happened where it's like, oh, if you can break it, you can get it for free. And of course, he also noticed like a small crack in it after only like flexing his aura. So it's like, oh, there's this crack. But aside from that, some other changes. Oh, bro, I can't forget his name. He actually saw the news of Sung Jin Woo becoming S rank, so he was very mad about that. I harped on this a lot. I won't stress it as much this time, but bro was tweaked out from the jump. Oh, wait, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't stress on this at all. Yeah, this was all cut out. This is probably all majority of what I talked about. Bro was tweaked out when he saw Sung Jin Woo, and they spent a lot of time covering this. I'll go to the first initial showing. Sung Jin Woo pulls up, or during his evaluation, and back and I forgot his name. They're there. This is his reaction. Bro's like, "Hey yo," like he has a face of dread, and there's a reason his reaction is a little bit stronger, because of his abilities. They're more beast-like, so he has sharper senses. So he's seeing and sensing all this energy way, and also he spent more time with Sung Jin Woo as well. So and then he says something along the lines of, "His strength is incomparable. Like he's way stronger than me right now." So you see him, his little aura marks, and he's come out. Look at his expression. He's tweaked. And then when he dips out on the paparazzi, like look at his reaction. Oh wait, where is it? Look at his reaction over here. he's so shook that the other guy notices it. Right here, see? He's so shook that the other guy notices it. And he's like, "Hey, bro, you good? Like, what's going on?" And then he just has an entire internal monologue, which in the show they didn't quite show this, but he has an entire internal monologue where the only conclusion he can arrive at is that Sung Jin Woo can get stronger. While in the anime, he went to his office and then came to that conclusion. But no, right here on the spot, showcasing his intelligence, bro was like, "Nah, my eyes," and he really meant his eyes because he means his beast eyes. Like when he has like the little like yellow and with the little slits. His beast eyes are able to pick up on things. So he has really high perception, and he couldn't follow Sung Jin Woo's tracks. So he's utterly flabbergasted by how much stronger he's gotten. And then also there's more in-depth like stuff about the media here, showcasing just the level of celebrity that a hunter is. A hunter is almost like Ronaldo and Messi levels of fame. Like or even higher, to the point that anyone in any country can name all the S ranks from another country. Well, an A rank isn't something that you would be able to name, but kind of show the panel of like the media being hyenas and switching to Sung Jin Woo. But also, I didn't really mention this, but Jinho, her friends are the ones that showed her brother, but she was with three friends as opposed to that one friend that had been doing dungeons with them. But those are about all the major differences, except for the battle with Tusk, I think. Like, he started doing all these acrobatic shits, and of course, those were added in. And also the chain stuff, that was also added in. But I think it was really cool because they got to show the different aspects of his strength, his speed, as well as his magical abilities. Because there's no way bro pulls down this giant boss, overpowers him. People are like, this guy's a mage? And this assassin type, super fast, fights with daggers. So I think that's also another part of this that people forget to mention or give credit to. Is that Jinwoo isn't just super strong, but he's breaking the rules of being a hunter. He's able to get stronger, but on top of that, he's able to do everything on his own. He has the strength. He has the speed. He has recover abilities. He has numbers as well. He can't be outnumbered. So this is all just this is all just amazing stuff, honestly. So I think I can leave it off there before I run out of storage again. I'm using my front camera now, so it's not going to use as much storage because the first part of the video was being filmed in 4K. Oh yeah, I also mentioned they spend more time discussing like who it was that was responsible for weakening the monsters because they just started falling apart. But that one mage girl still was able to pick up on it. So that's valid. But I think that's really about it. I could keep talking about this forever, and I probably will. Oh, I think also here, I don't know if this is the end. I think it was. I think it was, yeah. So, I think that's about it, man. Oh, also I mentioned his cousin. Jinho's cousin made an appearance, but we didn't really see her. She was excluded. But I think we'll see her later in because there is another instance. But I don't want to spoil it. I think it'll make some nice, not really fan service, but it'll be a cute moment. So I'll look that. Not the way you're thinking, but also yeah, the boss in that dungeon that Jinwoo was a miner for. We saw what the boss looked like. He was a giant type boss. So like right here and right here, I know it's blurry. It says, "Oh, a giant type boss." Then the final thing I'll mention is that in that also that same raid, the leader of the guild was there. So that red-haired guy, where is he? Yeah, right there. So using his fire magic. But that's really it. So I've already kind of stressed everything I've said again, but Solo Leveling's just peak, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say, man. I already said everything I know I can say. So I can keep talking about it, but like, there's not enough I can say to say all the things I can say. So I'm just gonna keep it brief. It's peak. Please watch it. Like, it's going crazy. It's only going to get crazier. So that's really it.